all. Today I will be presenting 3 analyses on Air Canada and its business model. I will go over what the company is, a SWOT analysis, a pestle analysis, and Porter's 5 forces. I'll provide my own personal feedback and I will provide critiques on each of the models. Before I start, let me give you some background on Air Canada, what it is, and some facts about it. Air Canada is the flag carrier for Canadian Airlines. It's also the largest airline in Canada. Air Canada has the largest fleet and the most passengers carried of all airlines in the whole country. The headquarters is located in Saint Laurent and Montreal, Quebec. Air Canada had its beginnings in 1937 when it was originally founded. The airline flies to 222 locations in 98 countries worldwide. It was also a founding member of the Star Alliance, which was the world's biggest airline alliance. The major hubs for Air Canada are YUL, YYZ, YYC, and YVR. Firstly, my SWOT analysis. Let's start with the strengths. Air Canada is the biggest airline in Canada and very well known, whether it's for good or bad reasons. This means that people will trust them and they can rest assured that their travel will be safe. There's no risk of potentially getting scammed. Necessary for some people, air travel is the fastest mode of transportation for long distances. Air Canada dominates the market. This means that there's not a lot of pressure to compete as there's not really a risk of being overtaken. Air travel is very niche. Air Canada flies to 222 locations and 98 countries. Air Canada is very expert. They've been an airline for almost 100 years and they are the largest airline in Canada. Next, we'll do the weaknesses. In the world of aviation, Air Canada is not unique. You can get the same service from others at the same or better quality. There are other airlines with a better reputation for customer treatment, and there are other airlines in the country that can provide the same service. Air Canada is very expensive, even for domestic flights. Canadians on average pay 22% more for flights than Americans do. Air Canada prides themselves on their premium service, but unfortunately that premium service comes with a premium price. And finally, Air Canada has a damaged reputation. Have you ever heard of somebody who traveled with Air Canada that didn't complain about the flight? No. I found a lot of complaints about damaged luggage or bags. In terms of opportunities, Air Canada could try taking clients from other airlines that might be a worse quality of service, regardless of their price. Some people might not be aware of Air Canada's service or have always just flown with another airline their whole life. There is opportunity for Air Canada to corner those customers and collect them. There's opportunity for Air Canada to expand. There are 195 countries in the world and Air Canada only flies to 98 of them. They could try to get flights to more variety of locations and more countries for more opportunity to collect customers. There are 2 prominent threats for Air Canada. Firstly, other airlines being cheaper. If other airlines are cheaper and have similar service and quality, then customers will likely turn to them instead. And secondly, other airlines with better reputations for having better service. A bad reputation does its damage, and if other airlines are able to maintain a more positive reputation than Air Canada is going to struggle. Now for the pest and pestle analysis. Firstly, political factors. Canada is not a very easy country to start an airline in. With high taxes and fees and extensive regulations and restrictions on foreign ownership of Canadian airlines, there's hardly any competition for Air Canada in the aviation world. This works in the company's favor, and the political climate that fosters it has resulted in big success in the domestic market. Flying to 98 countries and regions, Air Canada is affected by the political climate in other locations worldwide. This means that sometimes they have to avoid and go around certain airspaces due to international sanctions. Economic factors. In 2020, when the pandemic first began, Ottawa started promoting staycations more. This was to help reduce the spread of the virus. This definitely helped bring domestic flights into more popularity, but generally speaking, air travel was left in the dust and put on pause as international flights were grounded. Obviously, this caused a lot of financial trouble for the company, so they asked the government for financial support. Socially, people are becoming more aware of false advertising and marketing tricks. This means that consumers are more likely to look for cheaper alternatives to unnecessarily fancy products. Air Canada has partially fallen victim to this, as their consumers are well aware of their premium services. In order to fight this, Air Canada has created Rogue. Air Canada Rogue is a cheaper subsidiary. Technology. Aviation is an industry that is based on technology. Planes were once considered new and cutting edge, and over the years they've adapted to try and maintain this perception. An example of an advance they made in order to improve planes is adding AI, like autopilot. Though technology like FaceTime and other video calling apps cannot possibly be the same as being in a room with someone, it is predicted that the increasing performance of these things and the rising popularity may cause demand for air travel to decrease. Porter's 5 forces. Power of customers low. Customers don't really have any power in deciding if Air Canada will fail or not. It's a really unique company in that way. If they have a really slow year or an unsuccessful year, as Canada's biggest and most well-known airline, they can just request more funding from the government. Power of suppliers is moderate. In Canada, there aren't many options for airlines. Air Canada has the largest fleet in all of Canada with 166 aircrafts. This means that suppliers have the ability to raise that price and make potentially more money. The prices of fuel, however, have been rising just the same as gas prices. Jet fuel is more expensive than regular gasoline, and with the rising costs, suppliers have a lot of power over how much they are charging an airline for it. Intensity of rivalry, low. Air Canada will do basically anything to keep and attract customers, but they know that they are Canada's biggest airline and that there's really not any other airline that could possibly surpass them. Their rivalries with companies like WestJet are not really that intense at all. Threat of market entry, low. If a new airline entered the market, one that the government could aid in funding the same way that they fund Air Canada, but the airline charged much less for their flights, Air Canada's business would suffer greatly. However, the chances of this happening are very low, as Canada is a very difficult country to start an airline in. Threat from substitutes, high. Air Canada had to have the Air Canada Rogue program in order to offer cheaper services, since so many customers were finding cheaper substitutes, since they are known for their premium, expensive services. WestJet is their main competitor. Three main strategies for improvement. I think Air Canada could improve customer experience. When flying with Air Canada, improved customer experience would certainly help the organization improve. As previously mentioned, Air Canada has a less than ideal reputation. This is partially because of how much government funding they request, but also because of their service. It's basically impossible for Air Canada to go out of business. Even if they put care into their service, it's not enough. They still seem to damage luggage or are carefree in tending to customers' needs or special requests. Improving customer loyalty would greatly benefit Air Canada. Currently, due to high prices and mediocre customer service, customers tend to fly with them only if they have to. Improving customer loyalty would guarantee that these customers came to the airline willingly and excitedly. Additionally, improved customer loyalty would reduce any risk of competitors stealing clients away and could certainly resolve a few weaknesses and threats that were seen in SWAT. Improving resource productivity would help Air Canada reduce costs and in turn would help their reputation. Looking into more fuel-efficient planes and utilizing staff better would use their resources more efficiently. Reducing how much money they spend on fuel and staff who are not being used would lead them to spend less money altogether and probably result in them not needing as much financial aid from the government. After contemplating these analyses, I think that the new overall corporate objective Air Canada should focus on is Air Canada should aim to enhance operations in a changing market. This means working on customer perception in a world of COVID and travel restrictions. Firstly, my critiques of each model. SWOT is a helpful tool to navigate the potential of a company. However, everything that SWOT focuses on is very black and white. It doesn't take into consideration the external side of any of the issues or successes, or take into consideration why the stuff works when it works. PESTLE, unlike SWOT, takes the external aspects into consideration. It's about anything that could possibly affect a market, from social-political issues to technological advances. PESTLE, however, only really focuses on the external things. You could not reasonably gauge a market and how it's affecting companies based on PESTLE alone. Porter's 5 Forces provides insight into what a market looks like and where a company falls into it. It demonstrates how various external forces might affect an organization and what effects it will have. However, the strategy does not highlight any kind of efforts the company is making or any business strategies that might be in play. In my opinion, for Air Canada, the PESTLE is the best method to look at and gauge the company as a whole. It looks at how it's affected by all sorts of factors. The external and internal factors, as well as business strategies, and how the company works and is perceived. For them, just a SWOT or just the Porter's 5 Forces don't give you all the context or background needed to successfully come to a conclusion about the company. Aviation is an industry that is deeply impacted by outside factors. A great deal of their business model is based on these things. So it makes sense that PESTLE would be the most important for Air Canada. Overall, Air Canada is an untouchable giant in the aviation world. They are the biggest airline in Canada, and they hold a lot of power over Canadian travelers. They do a number of things well, and there are a number of things they have room for improvement on, but overall they are a pretty solid company. On behalf of Air Canada and the flight crew, we would like to thank you for flying with us.